Why is it that in an age of unprecedented material wealth, predictive algorithms, and plans that stretch decades into the future, we feel more anxious than ever? We have insulated ourselves with savings, strategies, and digital walls, yet we are haunted by a persistent, low-grade hum of apprehension. We have built a world dedicated to conquering tomorrow, only to find that in the process, we have completely lost today. This is the great paradox of the modern mind. We have become so preoccupied with securing our future that we have made the present moment, the only place where life ever happens, completely unlivable. Now, let us explore the profound wisdom found not in adding more, but in letting go. The human mind is a predictive machine. It evolved to scan the horizon, to remember where the danger was, and to project what might happen next. This was an ingenious survival tool, but that tool, left running without supervision, has become our tyrant. We no longer use this predictive function. We are used by it. We live, not in the rich, sensory reality that surrounds us, but in a thin, conceptual simulation of what if. We call this simulation planning, worrying, or ambition, but in essence, it is a desperate attempt to make the uncertain certain. It is an attempt to nail down the future, to turn the wild, flowing river of life into a solid, predictable, and sterile block of concrete. This is the ordinary world of our struggle. We are taught from childhood that the responsible human being is the one who has a plan. Security becomes the ultimate goal. We organize our education, our careers, our relationships, and even our leisure, all in service of a single idea, a secure tomorrow. But look closer at this promise. What is this? Tomorrow we are sacrificing everything for. It is a ghost. It is a concept that exists only in the mind. It has no substance. It never arrives. When it does, we call it today, and we immediately discard it, turning our attention to the next tomorrow. This is the trap. The more we chase this phantom of security, the more it eludes us. And the more it eludes us, the more anxious we become. We redouble our efforts. We build higher walls. We create more complex systems of control. We believe the problem is that our plan isn't good enough, that we haven't saved enough, that we haven't controlled enough. But this, as the great philosophies of the East have long understood, is a fundamental misdiagnosis of the problem. The problem is not that our grip on the future is too weak. The problem is that we are trying to grip it at all. We are trying to hold water in a clenched fist. The tighter we squeeze, the faster it slips through our fingers. The anxiety we feel is not a sign that we are failing to secure the future. It is the natural, healthy, and inevitable feedback from life itself, telling us that what we are doing is futile. It is the friction between our rigid idea of how life should be and the fluid, unpredictable reality of how life is. We are living in a state of constant contradiction. We want to be free, yet we spend our days forging new chains. We want to feel alive, yet we anesthetize ourselves against the very unpredictability that is the hallmark of life. We want peace, yet we wage a relentless inner war against what is in favor of what should be. Think of the I that does this planning. This self, this ego, is little more than a bundle of memories from the past and a collection of expectations for the future. It is a mental construct that feels profoundly insecure because, in reality, it has no solid existence now. It is a shadow, and to protect itself, to give itself a sense of permanence, it must own things. It must own a past, and most of all, it must own a future. Your anxiety, then, is the ego's survival mechanism. It is the alarm that screams whenever life threatens to be spontaneous. Whenever the present moment becomes too rich and unpredictable for the plan, this is why our common approaches to anxiety fail. We try to soothe the anxious mind by feeding it more security. We offer it a better plan, a more detailed forecast. Extravagance, we are, in effect, giving an alcoholic a drink to cure his shakes. We are reinforcing the very addiction that causes the suffering. We are strengthening the ego's illusion that it can and must control the uncontrollable. The result is a life half-lived. We eat, but we do not taste the food. For our mind is busy calculating the cost or planning the next meal. We walk, but we do not feel the ground beneath our feet. For we are mentally rehearsing a conversation that has not yet happened. We are with people we love, but we are not truly with them. Because our attention is trapped in a mental fortress, guarding our imaginary future from imaginary threats, we have become ghosts haunting our own lives. The body is here, in the present, but the self we identify with is lost, wandering in the non-existent corridors of tomorrow. This is the profound insecurity that no amount of planning can touch. It is the existential loneliness of being disconnected from the only reality we ever have, this immediate, sensory, and fleeting moment. We have been sold a false promise that if we just plan enough, worry enough, and control enough, we will one day arrive at a state of permanent safety. And so we live our entire lives on the preparatory steps, waiting for the real show to begin. We are perpetually getting ready to live. The trap of tomorrow is that it drains all the vitality, all the joy, and all the reality from today. We are perpetually getting ready to live, existing as shadows in a future that never comes. So, what is the antidote to this self-imposed exile? The answer is a philosophical reversal so profound that it feels, at first, like madness. The answer is to stop seeking security. The answer is to embrace, fully and completely, the fact that life is, at its very core, insecure. This is the great trial for our hero. The mentor's wisdom is not a new plan, but the dissolution of all plans. It is the understanding that what we are seeking to secure is not a thing, but a process. Let us use a simple metaphor, one cherished by thinkers like Alanwatts. Life is like music. When we listen to a symphony, what is the point of it? Is it the final chord? Is it the grand finale, where all tension is resolved? Of course not. If the point of the symphony were its end, the most efficient conductors would simply play the last note and we could all go home. But we understand intuitively that this is absurd. The point of music is not a destination. The point is the process of its unfolding. It is the way one note flows into the next, the interplay of rhythm and silence, the building and releasing of tension. We enjoy music by giving our full, undivided attention to the sound as it is happening. Right now, to listen to music while only thinking about the finale is to not hear the music at all. Now, look at how we live our lives. We have been taught to live for the finale. We treat our existence not as music, but as a journey with a fixed destination. The point of childhood is to get to adolescence. The point of adolescence is to get to college. The point of college is to get a career. The point of the career is to get to promotion, then to retirement. And the point of retirement is what? To finally, perhaps, sit on a porch and wait for the end. We are a culture of people who are desperately trying to arrive. We are hurrying through the symphony of our lives, impatiently tapping our feet, waiting for the good part to begin. And in doing so, we miss the entire performance. This is the central teaching: sanity, liberation, and peace are not found by creating a more perfect plan to control the future. They are found by abandoning the project of control and learning to participate fully in the music of the present. This is the Tao, the way, the flow. The philosophies of the East are grounded in this one. Simple, yet monumental insight reality is not static. It is fluid. The universe is not a collection of nouns. It is a dance of verbs, and our attempt to find a permanent, solid self, or a permanent, solid security in the midst of this dance is the root of all our suffering. Consider a river. A river is only a river because it is moving. If you could somehow freeze the entire process, if you could stop the flow, you would not have a secure river. You would have a block of ice. You would have death. To be alive is to flow. To be alive is to be, by definition, insecure, because you are always in a state of change. This is where our hero, our viewer, confronts the deepest part of the trial. It is one thing to accept this intellectually. It is another to apply it to the I we hold so dear. For if everything is a process, a flow, then what am I? We believe we are a thing, a static ego, a fixed identity. This I is the entity we are trying to protect. This I is the one who needs the secure future. But this I is an illusion. It is, as the Buddhists would say, a construct. What you call you is not a separate, permanent entity. You are a process. You are a verb. You are not a person. You are personing. You are not a static snapshot. You are the entire unfolding film. When you truly see this, the entire project of securing the self becomes meaningless. It is like trying to build a fortress for a cloud. It is like trying to write a permanent contract for a wave. The anxiety we feel, that desperate clutching for certainty, is the I illusion fighting for its own survival. It is the sound of a rigid mind scraping against the flow of reality. The I construct must have a future to define itself, just as it must have a past, our memories to create its story. The present moment, this fluid, ungraspable, now, is a mortal threat to the ego. Because in the pure now, the ego construct dissolves. In the pure now, there is no you who is experiencing. There is just the experience. There is just the sound of the rain, the warmth of the cup, the rhythm of the breath, and this is the struggle. The mind hears this and it recos. It says, if I let go of control, if I stop planning for tomorrow, won't I just fall? Won't I be vulnerable? Won't I be insecure? And the answer of the mentor is, yes, you will be, and you already are. The only difference is that you will have stopped fighting it. The old false security was a rigid, brittle thing. It was the security of a dam, holding back the water. It requires constant vigilance, immense effort, and it is always under threat of breaking. The moment it fails, the destruction is total. This is the anxiety we live with, the terror of the dam breaking. The new security, the wisdom of insecurity, is the security of a sailor. The sailor does not try to stop the waves. That is madness. The sailor does not build a fortress in the middle of the sea. The sailor learns to ride the waves. He learns to use the power of the wind, the very thing that was once his enemy. His security is not in his rigidity. It is in his adaptability. It is in his trust that he has the skill and the awareness to meet this wave. Right now, this is the central challenge. The hero is being asked to leave the false land of his plans and set sail on the open, unpredictable ocean of reality. He is being asked to trade the illusion of control for the wisdom of surrender. Surrender, here, does not mean giving up. It means giving up the fight. It means giving up the futile war against what is. The trial of Act 2 is this. Can we find the courage to be here? Now, can we accept that life is not a problem to be solved, but a process to be lived? Can we stop trying to get to the end of the song and, for the first time, simply listen to the note that is playing? This shift is the most difficult one a human being can make. It is the crossing of the threshold. It means leaving the ordinary world of future fixation and entering a new realm where the present is all that matters. It is to realize that the only you that can be saved is the you that is living. Right now, the you of tomorrow is a fantasy, and trying to save a fantasy at the expense of reality is the very definition of insanity. So how do we make this shift? How do we step off the solid, brittle land of our plans and learn to sail the open ocean of reality? This is the return journey. The victory is not a treasure we have won, but a burden we have learned to set down. The new perception is this: the only true security is found in the complete and total acceptance of insecurity. This is not a passive or fatalistic state. It is the most active and alive way to be. This is the security of letting go. What happens when you stop fighting the present moment? What happens when you stop trying to mentally fix the next 10 minutes? The next 10 days, the next 10 years, you discover something profound. You discover that this moment, right now, is actually fine. When you are no longer projecting your mind into a phantom future, your awareness floods back into your body. You return from exile, and you find that in the immediate, sensory now, there is no fundamental problem. The problem of anxiety was never here. It was always there in the conceptual, imaginary future. Here, in the present, your heart is beating, you are breathing, the air is touching your skin, there is sound, there is light. This is reality, and in this reality, you are always fundamentally adequate. You are always equipped to handle the actuality of the present moment. The only thing you are not equipped to handle is the tidal wave of imaginary what-if scenarios that your own mind creates. No one is. This is the practical insight. Your anxiety is not a warning about the future. It is a signal that you have left the present. It is an alarm telling you that your consciousness has become lost in illusion. The practice, then, is not to try and stop worrying. That is just another form of fighting. The practice is to return. When you feel the familiar clench of anxiety, the pull of the mind into what if, do not resist it. Do not judge it. Simply notice it, as you would notice a cloud passing in the sky. And then, gently, bring your attention back. Bring it back to your breath. Feel the physical, undeniable sensation of the air entering your body and leaving it. The breath is the perfect anchor. It is never in the past and never in the future. It is always impeccably. Now, it is the rhythm of the process, the music of life itself. Bring your attention to your hands. Feel the warmth, the tingling, the simple sensation of aliveness in them. Bring your attention to the sounds in the room, not the labels car, clock, voice, but the raw vibration of the sound itself. Before the mind names it, this is not a fix for your problems. It is the realization that, in the present moment, those problems do not exist in the same way. The future will still arrive. The challenges will still come, but you will meet them as they are. When they are, with the full force of your undivided awareness, you will no longer be a person who is constantly rehearsing a life they are not yet living. You will be the sailor, present, balanced, and responsive, meeting the reality of this wave right now. This is the return. You come back to the ordinary world, but it is no longer ordinary. The world is the same, but your perception is transformed. You have found a profound and unshakable stability, not by resisting change, but by becoming one with it. You have found a security that is not based on the walls you build, but on your trust in your own capacity to live. You have stopped waiting for the finale. You have, at last, begun to hear the music wind down. And so, the journey concludes, not with an answer, but with a presence. The greatest wisdom is not a new belief to acquire, but attention to release. There is no secret to find in the future. There is only this moment, in all its simple, profound, and immediate reality. The wisdom of insecurity is, quite simply, the wisdom of now.